Body camera footage is useless, easy to corrupt, lose, erase, obscure.
Yeah, I said what I said. This is usually a subject I steer clear from, but whatever, I'm feeling a little unhinged. Like, this is nothing new. There's a 52-page entry from 2017 about not if it happens, but what to do when it happens, because it happens so frequently. And for someone to say, no, this doesn't happen, there's a scorecard based off of like footage retention, misuse, and officer review, and other aspects of it.
Talk about police body camera footage, which I am a huge fan of.
Oh, you and me agree on that. I'm a fan of body cams.
Approximately 80% of police officers around the country wear body cams and record citizen contact.
It's great that these officers are recording their interactions with the general public. The problem is they get to pick and choose when to record. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a police officer, I'm just a mechanic with a little bit of common sense, and it does not take long to do a little bit of digging, and you can see how there is a double standard to it. I believe it's the police chief that controls like what footage is released to the public. When body cam footage is negative, the police use bogus arguments to either withhold it or justify selective releasing. However, when body cam footage is favorable, police tend to release it with lightning speed. 46 over 79, yeah, that's a little over half. Here's another one, missing body cam video obtained after year-long data practice fight.
I can tell you that as a police officer, there is absolutely no way to corrupt, erase, or edit body camera footage.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that one. To some extent, I believe you. I don't believe police officers have access to their own videotapes where they can sit down in front of a computer using Windows Movie Maker and doing little edits. I agree with you on that. But police officers can fail to activate their cameras. They can prematurely end a video and then continue on with their interaction. Or the cameras are turned on like well after everything. And it's like, oh well.
Release of body camera footage is typically determined by state law, which police officers did not write.
Yeah, that sounds right. Police officers are not the ones writing the laws to determine, like how footage is going to be released. Whether, faces need to be blurred or things like that. But ultimately, it's the police chief, I believe, that is able to give the green light on whether footage is released or whether it is withheld. That's not transparency. That's a one-way mirror. I hope a lot of you have made it this far into the video because, I'm not a defunder. I'm not on the rooftops shouting ACAB. And I truly believe that 99.9% of the time when police are interacting with the general public, it is civil and nothing to worry about, nothing to sweat over. Yeah, it's a stressful job, and I hear you guys do 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, 14-hour shifts. I've worked 14-hour shifts before, and I know right around hour 11 or 12, that's when my patience starts to wear real thin. I can only imagine it being a nightmare having one of those police auditors with a camera, trying to antagonize you, in which I gotta be honest, the conduct that's in those videos, it just does not look good. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Let me try and sum this up real quick. All the stuff of the police body cams is just a small component of a much larger problem, and that's the strained relationship between law enforcement and the general public. As they should, people who violate the law should be held accountable for their actions. And I understand that police need a certain level of immunity in order to perform their job. A police officer has to break the speed limit in order to catch someone who is breaking the speed limit. You are in this profession, so you're going to have a better grasp of it than I do. But from the perspective of the general public, it does not seem like police are really held accountable for much. I know that news and media do not like law enforcement, so this kind of stuff gets highlighted. When we hear of a police officer that has hundreds of complaints, dozens of misconduct, and multiple instances of violence, and then they get fired and only to be rehired by the next county over, that really makes a lot of people lose confidence. I've got friends in armed security, I've got friends in the military, and I've got friends in the police force. And I just hope, eventually someday we can live in a world where we're all just a little less shitty to each other. So, take it easy. Normally I wouldn't make this video because of such a controversial subject, but people in your comment section were getting a little bit under my skin. I'm still debating on whether I want to delete this video or not. Anyways, bye-bye!